Hi, this is Casey at Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today we're looking at the Outdoors RV 280RKS Blackstone Titanium Series. This model has a camping your fingertips remote that allows us to bring the awning in and out, control the lighting underneath the awning, as well as bring the slide outs in and out. We go into this in greater detail in another video. In the front storage compartment here, we have a 12-foot long LP hose. This allows us to run any high pressure barbecue like a Weber grill, anything that takes a little green bottle, a Camp Chef, with this hose and the 90-degree elbow we have mounted up here on the right-hand propane tank. We'll take a look at that in a minute. This unit's pre-wired for 200 watts of portable solar on the outside. Get a portable panel, comes out about a 20-foot long whip, throw it out to the south, that keeps our batteries charged. This particular unit is also equipped with a solar panel up there on the roof. You can put up to 3 170-watt solar panels from Zamp on the roof. This unit also has auto level. This is part of the new Titanium series. Auto level can be ran one of two ways. You can press the buttons in here on this control pad, or we can use the one on the touchscreen inside the coach. Again, we cover that in a separate video too in greater detail. Inside here is a battery disconnect switch. With that battery disconnect switch in the off position, that'll allow us to disconnect the coach from the battery. So if we're going to put it in storage, we could flip that to the off position. Now we don't have the draw of things like stereo lights and 12-volt boards on water heaters and refrigerators, things like that. The solar panels will still charge those batteries even with that disconnect in the off position, but we no longer have that draw from the trailer. There's also another black switch in here that controls the LED lighting over the top of the battery boxes up front. We have load lights on the inside at this end of the storage compartment and one at the other end as well. As part of the mountain storage system that we order on all of our units, that comes with the ratcheting toy lock here on the outside. If we'd like to lock up a generator, bicycles, lawn chairs, tons of options there. We have two 7-gallon propane tanks. They're all filled up and ready to go. In the middle here, we have an auto changeover regulator. We have both of the valves in the open position. This auto changeover regulator is green in the window, and this little supply arm is pointing towards this tank. That's letting us know that this tank here, it's full of fuel. When it goes empty, it's going to turn red in this window, and it's going to start drawing on the second tank. This arm is still going to be pointed towards that first tank and show red in the window, but it'll be running on the second tank at that point. So let's leave both the valves open, then we don't have to jump up at 2 a.m. to start our furnace back up on the other one. Here we have a 90-degree elbow that's mounted on that right-hand propane tank. This is the one we were speaking about before that's tied to that 12-foot long LP hose. We would unscrew this here, hook on that 12-foot long LP hose, and run that out to our barbecue. Again, this is all high pressure at this point because it's running directly off the tank. We're not coming off the lower end where it's already been regulated. Power tongue jack, all part of that auto level system. Over the top of the slide outs on the Titanium models are slide toppers. That keeps debris and pine needles from building up on those slides. This model is equipped with a 50-amp service on a twist lock and a 30-foot long power cord. There's a little blue light here that lets us know we have 110 power. There's another blue light at the other end of the cord where we're plugged in that lets us know we have power as well. This port here that's black, this one is for our cable hookup at an RV park. So if we go to RV park, they have cable hookups there. We can run the coax from the park directly to the trailer, and now we have cable TV inside. You also have a Winegard Air 360 antenna that's up there on the roof that'll capture the over-the-air TV signals. This one that's marked as DSS, this is for portable satellite. So if we have a Dish Network portable satellite system or something similar, that will bring that portable satellite system into the trailer. We'll look at that on the inside. Behind each of these kayak hatches are our gray and black valves. This is where we're going to dump our tanks. The black valve, we'll open that one up first. That's going to drain our toilet waste. The gray one, that's going to be for our sinks and our showers. With this one, with the rear kitchen, we have another gray valve in the back, and we'll look at that one in just a minute. We'll open up the black valve, dump our waste. Now, if we have old garden hose at home, or we have gray hoses here, for example, we just want to separate it from our fresh hose. We're going to hook it up to the spigot, the water spigot, and we're going to run our hose over here to the Santa Flush. The Santa Flush has a spray head inside that black tank. That's going to spray out that black tank and get things nice and clean in there. It'll get any additional waste out, plus it helps keep those sensors inside nice and clean that show our tank levels. Once we've finished that and we've ran that Santa Flush for a few minutes, we'll go ahead and close that black valve up. Then we'll open up our gray and dump it the rest of the way out. There's also a light out here on the outside in case you're doing it in the evening. As we spoke about up front, this is a rear kitchen model, so it has another gray tank here in the back. That gray valve is located underneath the skirt metal here with a separate 40-gallon gray tank here at the back of the coach. Behind this little door, this is going to give us access to our 80-gallon freshwater holding tank. That's where we're going to fill that holding tank at. So if we go out dry camping, we're going to take the water with us. We're going to drop our freshwater hose down in there, turn it on about half, 3/4 speed, fill that tank up. As the water's going in, the air's coming out, and we have a gauge inside that'll show us our tank level so we know it's full. This one here below it, this is for our city water hookup. So if we go to RV park and we're going to run off the city water hookup there at the RV park, we'll run our freshwater hose from the water spigot into the side of the trailer. We're just going to put a water pressure regulator in between. We provide that water pressure regulator at no cost. That drops you down about 45-50 psi. Behind this door, we have our hot and cold water for our outside shower. For sewer hose storage, we can remove this black bumper and we can put our sewer hose here in the bumper. Big tube ladder here at the back of it. We want to get up on that roof a couple times a year. We're going to get up there and check the condition of the rubber, and we're really going to look at the condition of the die core. The die core is the stuff that goes around the roof vents and all the roof penetrations up there, as well as those solar panel feet. That die core up on the top there, we're going to look for pinholes, cracks, bubbles, anything that looks like there's any potential for water to get inside. If you see somewhere that looks somewhat suspicious, let's just dab a little die core over the top of that spot. We don't have to cut the old stuff off or anything fancy. Die core comes in a caulking tube, and it's extremely easy to use. Up there on the center of the roof line where our roof vents are and solar feet, that kind of good stuff, we're going to use a self-leveling die core. So when we dab it on there, it's going to flatten up and cover the space. Now along the edges of the roof line, we want to use a non-leveling die core. That non-leveling die core is going to not roll over the nice side of our fiberglass there. And then for the rest of the exterior of the coach, it's just a clear outdoor silicone like you'd use in a home. This is the back of our refrigerator. This is a 1/4 turn that removes this rear refrigerator panel. Once a year, grab the shop vac, keep that thing clean back there. Don't want the spiders making a house in there. Outside of here, this is the back of our furnace. 10-ply E-range Goodyear Endurance tire. And then we have a backup camera there at the rear. That backup camera comes with a 7-inch monitor that we're going to put in the console of the truck. We cover that in greater detail in another video, but this backup camera has full audio, color screen, and allows us to see back here while we're driving down the road, or we can use it just when we're backing up. We have a 10-gallon water heater that's both gas and electric. So on electric, that's the 110 element side of it. So if we go to RV park, we're going to run on the 110 side and save our propane. And then if we're up in the mountains, we're going to be running on that that propane side of it. Down here at this bottom corner is an on and off switch. This on and off switch will override the electric heating element switch inside the coach. If we flip this to the off position, that'll disable that switch inside. We would most commonly use that if we were going to winterize the trailer. We didn't want somebody to be able to turn it on inside since it didn't have any water in it. We could override it so somebody couldn't turn it on in there. Let's say we didn't turn that switch off and we didn't have any water in there, and somebody turned it on inside on the electric element. These here are high limit switches. This prevents that water heating element from burning up, so it's intended to protect itself. So if we turned it on in there, it got too hot, it shut itself off. Next time we went to use it, we could come out and press these, similar to resetting a GFI and electrical outlet. One side's electric and one side's gas. Down here at the bottom, this is our anode rod. This unscrews with 1 1/16" socket. Right now it's about 6 to 8 inches long, nice and shiny. A year or two from now, we're going to pull that out and it's going to be eaten up. At that point, we're going to want to swap that out for a new one. When we're not using the water heater, if we're going to store it for periods of time, we want to go ahead and drain the water out of there, or if we're going to winterize it, we want to get the water out for the winter. Here at the top, this is our pressure relief valve, similar to having a home hot water heater. On the other side of the coach here, we have an outside storage compartment that allows us to get to our garbage chute that's on the inside. We can put a garbage can in here and drop our trash right through the countertop and remove it from out here, or we can use it for extra storage. We have 110 outlets on the outside, so anytime we're plugged into shore power like we are now, or if we have a generator running, we have 110 outlets on the outside. Over the top here, this black vent, this is the one that goes over the top of our stovetop inside. So if we're cooking inside, we can flip that exhaust fan on, draw that hot air out. We also have 2 speakers on the outside. This is zone 2 out on the outside and zone 1 on the inside. You can play them at the same time or independent, however you like. This unit's equipped with a 10-ply E-range Goodyear Endurance tire. Tire pressure is set to 80 psi. Lugs are torqued to 115 pounds, and they're a 3/4 inch drive. This is a Dexter quick lube axle. Behind this center cap, if we remove this, there's a little rubber cover that covers the top of the Zerk fitting. Dexter recommends hitting these with a lithium No. 2 high temp grease every 12 months or 12,000 miles. The MoRide CRE 3000 in here in the middle that gives us an extra 3 inches of vertical travel on our axles, that's also wet bolted. There's 2 wet bolts on each end of the leaf spring, 1 in the center, and then 1 on each end of the leaf spring back behind the tire. MoRide recommends greasing that with the same lithium No. 2 high temp grease every 6 to 10,000 miles. All right, let's head inside. Immediately inside the front door here, this is our auto level touchpad screen. Again, there's the one in the front compartment there, or we can use the one inside the trailer. The one inside the trailer is more informative and allows you to do some extra things. But our main things we're going to do here, press auto level to level the trailer, and then we're ready to hook back up to our truck. We're going to press auto hitch, and that's going to return us to our hitch height. That is, again, covered in more detail in another video. Inside this front compartment door, this is where the kind of the brains of the operation are here. So up in the top left corner, this is for our gas water heater. When we flip this gas water heater switch on, that direct spark ignition light is going to come on. That fault light's going to go out after about 15-20 seconds. This is a direct spark ignition water heater. It's going to sit there, it's going to fire. Once it's fired and lit, that water heater, that fault light's going to go out. Water heater's lit, it's up and running. If we want to run on the 110 side of that heating element, we're going to turn the 110 on. There's no direct spark ignition fault light because it's just either on or off for that 110 element. We would more commonly use that 110 side if we're at an RV park, and more commonly use the gas side if we're staying up in the mountains or dry camping. Water pump switch. There's also a second switch there in the bathroom that turns that water pump on. When we turn the water pump on, that's drawing our water out of that fresh tank that we filled up and supplying it to the faucets. Now, if we're hooked up at an RV park and hooked to city pressure, we don't need to turn that water pump on because we're not drawing any water out of the tank. We're supplying that pressure directly from that water faucet that we hooked up at the RV park with. There's also another switch here for this 12-volt heat pad. This 12-volt heat pad is mounted to the bottom of that freshwater holding tank. This is intended to keep that fresh water from freezing up in extremely cold weather. Now we have 2 rolls of R7 fiberglass in there, R15 foil. Each tank is individually wrapped in R15 foil. This is just one extra advantage to having that 12-volt heat pad on there. Here's our battery gauge for our batteries, our fresh tank, our blacks, our gray 1 for up in front, and our gray 2 for back there for that rear kitchen. Our main slide in and out, and then our awning in and out. Again, we can do this from inside the coach, or we can use that remote control that we looked at earlier. Down here on the wall, this is our digital thermostat. We can control our room temperature here, similar to in a home. We have cool and heat and fan. So air conditioning and fan is ducted through the ceiling, and then heat comes through everything in the floor registers down below. Now we're going to look at our 12-volt TV. This 12-volt TV has a travel strap that goes over the top, and it's mounted on a swing-out bracket. When we're ready to release it from that swing-out bracket, we'll pull the lever back behind there, and then we can swing it out off the wall. This gives us options to point it towards our chairs, our couch, or it also gives us quick access to our HDMI hookups and USB hookups here on the side. Here on the wall is our booster. This booster sends 12-volt power up to that TV antenna to get our good TV signal. So we're ready to watch TV. We'll turn this booster on. That's going to illuminate this green light like it is now. And then on our TV remote, we're going to scroll over to Menu, Channel, and Auto Scan, and that's going to go get those TV channels for us. Now that's the stuff over the air, but if we're at an RV park, that cable is going to come right here through this coax, the same one the antenna is using. We'll just want to turn that booster off. Satellite, like we looked at outside for Dish Network, that DSS port out there, that's tied into this one here. That allows us to put our Dish Network system inside and tie it to the TV with the HDMI hookup that comes with Dish Network. If we want to plumb that same Dish Network to our rear TV that comes in this titanium model, then we're going to do a coax out to this port here, and there's another one matching it in the bedroom that allows us to watch Dish Network in the bedroom as well. This is our CD player, our DVD player, Bluetooth, AM, FM. This is going to be our stereo system. So zone 1 is going to play inside, zone 2 is going to play outside. When we're ready to watch a DVD, we'll put a DVD in here. It'll come up on HDMI 1 on the screen. Bluetooth, if we'd like to play music from our phone or podcasts, that's going to ask for a passcode on here. It's 4 zeros, just like this remote control here is for camping our fingertips. 4 zeros, that'll tie into the stereo system here. This unit also comes with a fireplace. This fireplace is electric. It's 110, so we need 110 power when we're ready to reuse this one. We can use this so it just has background ambient light like a fire, or we can have it put out heat and set it on a thermostat. Down here at the floor is our load center. Everything 110 on the coach is on the breakers, everything 12 volt is on the fuses. The 110 side, we're looking at main power in, things like our fireplace, air conditioner, microwave, that kind of good stuff. The 12 volt side of it, that's mainly lighting broken into different circuits. And then we have things like our furnace, awning, vent fans, all on this side. Everything's labeled inside the door for what it's for. This unit comes with a tri-fold sofa. To fold it out, we'll remove these two and flip this back, and that back end will fold down. You also have additional sleeping space here. To make this down into a bed, we're going to lift up on the tabletop, we'll set those table legs underneath, and then we'll move this tabletop to the brackets on each end and slide our cushions in, and that'll fill this space. It's 84 inches long, so it's actually longer than a queen bed. This unit's equipped with the 8 cubic foot Norcold refrigerator. This first button here is a power button. The green light's on, so we know it's up and running. The next one is our mode button. A is automatic. Right now we have a little plug in there. That's telling us we're running on 110 power. So anytime 110 power is available, it runs on 110. If we disconnect from the building right now, it's going to run on the propane tanks up at the front of the trailer. Same thing would happen if you're dry camping. If you're dry camping out in the mountains, you're typically going to be running on the propane tanks. If you bring a portable generator along with you, fire up that generator, it's going to switch and run on the 110 side. If we shut that generator off, it'll move right back to the propane tanks. So we'll normally leave it in auto. We do have the option though, if we press through the mode button here, to select just electric or just gas. But we're typically going to leave it in automatic and let it switch between the two. The next button here, this is going to set the temperature. So let's go up to 5 little snowflakes. The more little snowflakes, the colder it is. Usually somewhere in that 3 to 4 range is about right. This model is also equipped with max air fans throughout the entire coach. These max air fans draw air in or out at 10 different fan speeds. We can also use this to set it for a specific temperature. If we want to set it for 75 degrees in here, we can adjust that temperature with the plus and minus buttons, press auto. Anytime it gets above 75, or whatever temperature we choose, it's automatically going to turn on. We can also manually run it to bring air in or air out at 10 different fan speeds, or just open and close that lid. 110 microwave over the top of the stovetop here. We also have that range light and an exhaust fan like we talked about when cooking. There's a knife rack here in the back. If we want to put our larger cutlery knives here, we can point the blades down and keep them there for transport and storage. There's a nice solid glass surface over the top of our stove. And then we have 3 individual burners. This new model is equipped with the electronic igniter. That electronic igniter is going to light all 3 burners, and it'll also do our oven under here. For lighting the burners, we're going to kick this over to light and press that igniter. When we're ready to light the oven, we'll kick this to pilot on, press and hold that knob, and press our electronic igniter, and that's going to ignite that oven. It also has 2 light modes where you can turn on these oven knob lights, as well as having one for the oven itself. We mentioned that outside storage chute for our trash. That's right here in this countertop. We can place that garbage can underneath there, drop our trash in, and then it's outside and easy accessible. All right, now we're here in the bathroom. This also has a max air fan in here. This has 4 different fan speeds that draws air out. We just press the button 1, 2, 3, 4 times to select our fan speed, or we can just open and close that lid. Here's our second water pump switch. Then we have the on and off switch for our lights in here. Glass shower enclosure with the travel lock that goes over the side. And our low point drains are located down here below this cabinet. These low point drains are covered with the section insulation. These low point drains come into time when we're going to drain the water out of our system. So we talked about draining that freshwater tank outside. We opened the white valve and drained the tank, but we still had the water got to the individual faucets. These low point drains, they're quarter turn valves underneath there. That's how we're going to drain the lines that went to each individual faucet. So if I'm not going to be using the trailer for some period of time, I'll typically drain those low point drains out so we don't have stagnant water sitting there. And this also comes into play when we get ready to winterize the trailer, when we get all the water out. All right, now we're here in the bedroom. This unit features a wardrobe slide with additional wardrobe storage here, as well as 2 drawers underneath each side of the bed, and additional storage space underneath the bed. Underneath here we also have our leather wrap storage pillow. This pillow allows us to use that in that front window over the top of the front cap. That allows for additional insulation, and it can also be used to block out additional light. This unit has been optioned with a second air conditioner here in the bedroom. So this is the lower AC unit, and it's controlled separate from that main unit in the rest of the trailer. Over the top of the bed on each side we have reading lights that are on a touch. So this is more of a night light mode, and then we have the reading light that's adjustable. Titanium models come with a memory foam cooling gel mattress. Very high quality mattress, similar to a Tempur-Pedic that you'd have in a home. There's also lights over the top of the countertop on each side, as well as 12-volt USB plugs on each side of the bed to charge our phones and devices. Next to those 12-volt plugs are also 110 outlets. 110 outlets inside the trailer are typical 110 outlets like you have in a home. So in order to use those, we need to be plugged into 110 power like we are now to the building, or if you were to RV park, plugged into that hookup there at the RV park. Our other option would be when we're dry camping, we're going to turn on that generator. That generator is going to provide that 110 AC power, and that's going to allow these 110 outlets to work in here. That 110 becomes important when we're ready to run our air conditioners, our microwave, and then the 110 outlets throughout the entire coach. And in this model, that's also going to apply to that fireplace up front too. Also here in the bedroom, we have a 12-volt TV. This 12-volt TV is on a swing out bracket. This moves out off the wall, and it also has a DVD player on the side. Just put the shiny side of the DVD out facing towards you. This has the same menu structure as the menu on the front TV that we looked at earlier. This unit has also been optioned with roof-mounted solar. We can put up to 3 170-watt solar panels up there on the roof. This is a ZAMP 30-amp charge controller. Right now we're looking at how many volts are on the batteries. So right now it's showing that the batteries are full, and there's 13.8 volts on the batteries. Now that's going to depend if we have an AGM battery, a wet, a 6-volt, 12-volt, or lithium. That's all going to vary. But it's nice to know exactly how many volts are on the batteries. That solar is going to charge our batteries while we're using it or while it's in storage. We're always drawing 12-volt power off the batteries, and we're never drawing directly off the solar panels. So the solar is up there charging those batteries, and then we're drawing things like our lights and slide outs and awnings off of those 12-volt batteries. This solar controller also allows us to see how many amps are being brought down from the solar, how many amp hours the solar is put on the batteries, as well as change that battery type. Again, this is where we get into setting it for lithium, AGMs, wets, and the other options that are out there. Here on our tabletop, we have our 7-inch monitor that's going to go inside the truck. We have that backup camera there at the back, and we'll plug this 7-inch monitor into the 12-volt outlet of the truck, and now we have a full color screen to see at the rear. We can use this again while we're driving down the road or while we're backing up. It comes with 2 different mounting brackets, one that's an L bracket and one that's a suction cup. There's a packet from Outdoors RV that has all our manuals and registrations in it, as well as an owner's manual from Outdoors RV. The owner's manuals aren't floor plan specific, but the same stuff all applies, as the locations just change a bit. But it's extremely informative and includes photos. This is the Outdoors RV TV setup menu sheet that we provide. So we at Thompson RV provide that for you. Gives kind of a quick cheat sheet to work with DVD players, TVs, things like that. This is also a quick walkthrough orientation paperwork that we provide that covers some of the same stuff we're talking about while we're walking around. Getting up there, checking the condition of the roof, torquing the lugs to 115 pounds, that kind of good stuff. The keys, there's purple keys that are going to be for the entry door, the gray keys do the baggage doors up at the front, and these 2 silver keys, these are going to be ones for that toy lock up at the front on the front of the frame. Remote control for the TV, there's another one just like this for that bedroom TV. This gray remote is the one for the stereo and our DVD player. And this small black Dimplex remote, that's the one for our fireplace down there at the floor. Thanks for taking this quick tour with us on the 280RKS Titanium. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 541-276-4836 or visit us online at thompsonrvinc.com. Thanks.